sources, details being shared by our Security Affairs Editor, Manoj Kumar Gupta. We're getting in details about how Pakistan has chosen the gun over development. In the backdrop of Operation Sindhu, Shahbaz Sharif's government is going all out to please Asim Munir. Pakistan's 20% defence budget increase reflects urgent military requirements. India's strikes have left critical gaps in Pakistan's air defence systems, and that stands completely exposed. Top intel sources have informed your channel that the budget hike is an attempt to also pressurize China to upgrade the defence system. Let's not forget the kind of military assistance Pakistan was given by countries like China, by also Turkey to an extent. All of that is being watched very closely by the intel here in India. Going across to Akanksha Swaroop to piece this together for us. Akanksha, just yesterday we were breaking down details of what this would mean in the larger context of the defence apparatus that Pakistan is now aiming for, especially in the wake of Operation Sindoor. But help us understand the China angle and whether or not this could also be a messaging to China on Pakistan's part.
It's been important to highlight in these inputs that have been shared by Security Affairs Editor Mr. Manoj Gupta that this entire defence budget has China's stamp all over it. Remember, it's a 20% increase. The entire defence budget of Pakistan has now been increased to 2,550 billion Pakistan rupee, and that is a 20% increase compared to last year. But this, of course, is also not just about Pakistan increasing its budget spending in the wake of Operation Sindoor between 7th and 10th of May, which, as you rightly highlighted, exposed the critical gaps in Pakistan's air infrastructure. But also, it is an indication of how China is now looking to increase its defense supplies, especially when it comes to the air defense supplies. Important to highlight that as early as August of 2025, one can expect the first batch of the J-35A stealth fighter aircraft, which are the 5th generation fighter aircraft that China will be dispatching. In fact, reports are also indicating that Pakistan has sent off its air pilots for training to the PLA air bases in Beijing. So it's, of course, China is now trying to also increase its own defense supplies. This is the kind of defense partnership, the strategic partnership that is deepening, even though India has put Pakistan and its defenses on the back burner, as we have already highlighted, the way we destroyed the Turkish drones, the way we destroyed the HQ-9 entire air missile system. The Indian makes have, in fact, sort of created a sort of panic within Pakistan, which is now looking to increase its defense, especially its air defense mechanisms. But when you talk about that, China is also trying to gain access, and as we all know, the CPEC, the second phase of CPEC will be commencing very soon. And so Pakistan is ensuring that when it increases its defense budget, on parallelly, it will also be providing access to China when it comes to giving them access to CPEC. Remember, China's concern was, of course, with regards to its own security personnel. China had also deployed its own security personnel around the CPEC, but this time around, with the increase in the defense budget, you can also expect that Pakistan will not just be investing in the defense makes coming in from China, but it will also be looking at increasing its security towards CPEC. Also, to address the burgeoning concern of the Baloch insurgency. So what we are learning is that the kind of diplomatic overtures that have been happening between Islamabad and Beijing, they are directly indicative of how China is now looking to gain out of India's Operation Sindoor, which also exposed Pakistan's deeply vulnerable defense capabilities.
Okay, so one aspect, of course, Akanksha, is why this budget hike and what we make of it, how China is a key player that one is watching out for. The other aspect, and I want you to come in on this, is the fiscal instability in Pakistan. Are all those red flags being ignored? Because once again, we see another chunk of Pakistan's money being diverted to procure more military arsenal. What about those red flags that, despite IMF loans, despite all the international help, has not really aided Pakistan to comfort?
It has aided Pakistan in only increasing its terror capabilities. So it's not like that money is not going to Pakistan from world banking networks, whether it is the IMF, whether it is the World Bank, or the money that's being doled out from, say, as latest as the Asian Development Bank. The fact of the matter is that it's been amply proven by the way the terror networks have been thriving in Pakistan, and how Pakistan refuses to come to terms with its own economic failures. As yesterday we were already talking about how the economic outlook report of 2025 in fact has already flagged off concerns that there's a dip in the major crops growth. India has already suspended the Indus Waters Treaty, and that's going to take a further toll on its agrarian sector. Not to forget the fact that Pakistan this time around, when it when the Pak Assembly gathered together to address the issue of the economy, they have also realized the fact that they've not been able to come to the expected growth, especially when it comes to the targeted GDP. And so all of these failures are clearly highlighting that despite money being doled out from world banking networks and the looming threat of FATF over their head, India is certainly going to be pushing for Pakistan to get back at the FATF grey list. Can Pakistan really afford to increase its defense expenditure, especially at a time when its own agricultural sector is taking a hit? Inflation is at an all-time high, most importantly at a 60-year-old high. Kritsvi.
Many thanks, Akanksha. For
News18.com marches way ahead of the Times of India with 38% more users on native and social platforms. Network 18, the undisputed leader of news networks, way ahead of the Times.